Okay.
Hey everybody, it's Ryan from Pi Records, and I'm here with Francesco from the Guantanamos. How are you, Francesco?
Hi there. I'm fine, thank you. How are you, Ryan?
Very good. So you guys are from Italy. I listened to your music.
Yes, we are.
You're right outside of Florence.
Yes, we live in the outskirts of Florence, little town near Florence called Pistoia and Prato.
Very cool. So I was listening to your music, and I love the tempo feel. What would you say are the influences behind your music?
Well, we all, the three of us, come from different music backgrounds, so I think it's difficult to pinpoint a sort of just one influence. But I think the two of us, me and the bass guitarist, have a classical background. So I think the first influence, even though it's difficult to track it in our music, might be classical music. I think many influence, of course, starting from the surf music. I think we have been influenced by the different surge of surf music in over time. So I think starting from, of course, the basic is California, but then I think the first research of surf in the 70s and the 90s as well have been a point of reference for us. So we think of ourselves as inspired by classic surf music in a sense, but of course we all listen to different genre, and I myself have been playing apart from classical music, but I've been playing in the teenage years in hard rock, garage band, and the bass guitarist played in more possibly harder stuff like punk or heavy metal. So and from there we sort of evolved, and at a certain point, for different reasons, so we found ourselves playing and being passionate for surf music, and here we are. As far as I'm concerned, I think classical music, but also jazz and blues as well, had a major influence before surf music per se. And I think that the joining link with blues, of course, might be many. Honestly, I think the chord progression, the use of pentatonics. And in the industry of blues as well, I think if you think about Freddie King in 1961 released a big sort of hit, the LP, Hideaway and Dance Away with Freddie King. And there you have two big surf hits like Hideaway and another couple of them that have been played by the Sentinels, the Lively Ones in the early 60s. So I think blues as well. And then, of course, surf music and the classic stuff in the 60s later on, and also the current, the contemporary surf music, which is also quite an important influence. So we try to keep ourselves updated as much as we can.
Very cool. Something you said struck me. How does someone go from being trained classically to playing rock music? That's very interesting to me.
Well, in a nutshell, it's I would say, to cut a long story short, it's instrumental. But I think, well, which is something that I always reflected upon. I think instrumental music for people who are not insider might be sort of a niche music. It's not, after all. There's lots, of course, of instrumental music, and the classical one is just one, but jazz and some part of blues and many of the music we're exposed to are instrumental. So I think I think the passion for music is what has been with us for along the journey in music. So I cannot say that playing the oboe, which was my instrument, or for Mr. Cato, the bass guitar, playing the viola, was the main driving force for surf music. But certainly it planted a seed, which later on developed in a form of music which is instrumental. And I think what might be a similarity between the instrumental music, I think it's that prompts your imagination. I think you don't have lyrics, and you have to think about sort of adding a soundtrack and an image and footage to the soundtrack you're listening or you're playing. So I think it's driving a bit more, at least to me, the imagination. So this is the strong part of liking the instrumental music, either classical, jazz, or surf music. And as a matter of fact, I think just recently we've been part of a compilation. We've been invited. We've been very lucky. We're glad to say that to be invited to join a compilation. So 23 different bands from all over the world playing classical music pieces under sort of a surf music perspective. Like, the compilation is been released in March 2021, actually, and under Sharwaji Records label, and it's going to be released in Japan and the United States. So I think we've been very lucky to be part of this group of outstanding bands, and I think well, that certainly is another joining link to classical music, because what we played there, the track that we performed for the compilation, is actually the overture from the Barbiere di Siviglia from Gioacchino Rossini, in a surf version of it. I hope good old Gioacchino is not going to bear a grudge against us for that, but that's another sort of link between classical training and surf music. That's it.
That's very interesting. I think that's really super cool.
Thank you.
So being in Italy, there's a lot of coming together of surf bands in Italy, such as the Surfer Joe Festival. You want to tell me a little bit what that's like out there?
Well, I think Italy, it's we have a very outstanding surf scene in Italy, and not just now. I think, of course, Lorenzo Surfer Joe is doing an excellent work, and in terms of promoting and organizing the festival, which is one of the most acknowledged surf festival worldwide. But I think tracing back the history of surf music in Italy, you really have the chance of finding great bands. I'm thinking about the second or third waves, as to say, depends on how you count them. But I'm referring to the 90s, of course, after the release of the Pulp Fiction and the resurgence of surf music. And I think in Italy, we saw an expanding sort of large number of bands, surf bands. People like the Cosmonauti from Rome, they were really good. They were refined musicians, and I think they toured in the United States at that time. And then you have the Bradipos 4. I think the longevity they've got, it's amazing. But I've seen them live, and I met them at Surfer Joe Summer Festival a few years back, and I think it was 2019, and they absolutely great. So I think Surfer Joe, and I think we have another band from Tuscany, which is not exactly surf, but it's surf and garage. Is Ray Daytona and the Goo Goo Bombos is another great band. So I think we're lucky enough to have seen a sort of evolving surf music scene since the 90s, and nowadays we still have emerging good bands like well, many of them, the Mysterics recently, but Surfnado, Tiki Squad, and people who've been in the business a bit more, the Ghiblis and the Octopus, Operation Octopus, the Surfoniani from Turin. So, and making a list is always making me feel uncomfortable, because I'm surely leaving out many of them as good, and so I prefer not to mention any more. But there are many. So it's again, I'm feeling very lucky of having been part of the scene. What we have to say, Ryan, is unfortunately pandemics ground everything to a halt. So I think unfortunately we missed the last year. We missed the Surfer Joe Summer Festival. We don't have much chance to play live, and this is a very bleak scenario at the moment. But apart from that, hopefully things are going to improve sooner, and so that I hope that we will be able to see again this big expanding surf scene in Italy going on.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. God, that's a lot of bands in Italy. What have you been working on anything remotely or distancing with the band right now?
Well, unfortunately, not in Italy. We just a few months ago, we've been part of the compilation. This is Olas Rebeldes. It's called. I'm not sure if you heard of it. There's 27 tracks on it, and so we've been invited by the guys, the Baby Dolls Surf, and they invited us to be part of the compilation. So we're doing something remotely, and the orchestra reverberation, which is the one with classical music interpreted in surf version, is another one sort of things that we did remotely, but not as such with Italian bands. I would be more than happy to do it as soon as there's a chance to do it. But of course, I run the risk of repeating myself. I really hope that sooner than later we will be able to get back and play live with them, which is what we are here for, and what we like the most, I think. So we've done something remotely, and of course we do now as a band work remotely, because what we are currently writing down and arranging, we have to use programs on the computer, so either GarageBand or the like, because I think it's difficult to get together with this on and off closure, and so it's a very hard time, but we stick on our guns, and we and we don't give it up. So
well, I'm glad to hear you're still working, because on the other side, I think there's going to be a lot of people hungry for new music.
Yeah, absolutely. I think again, I have to say in favor and with respect with those who play as a main sort of occupation, that I sympathize with them. Lucky enough, we the three of us have day jobs, so I think we manage to get on. Of course, the music is just part of our sort of normal activities. It's something a bit more of an hobby, but I think that this is a very bad situation for those who work on music, and I really sympathize with them. All my feelings goes to them.
Yeah, I understand. So Italy is an interesting place. There's the Messer Chups in Russia. Then you have
Yep.
the Japanese and Asian punk surf scene, and you have Western Europe. It's got a lot of surf bands. Why do you think Italy is the place to come? It's very centralized.
It is actually. It's the fact that apart from Lorenzo Sanfilippo being such a good organizer and being able to keep all this connection, Italy is also a sort of in the middle in terms of geographically. I mean, it's an ideal place. Western Europe, but Italy with the climate and the stuff. I think. Over the summer, I think it's an ideal place, so of course the Livorno, it's a beautiful place, and the location is wonderful. So I think this is why we decided to. This is one of my pictures. I did it myself. This is the first EP, and this is the picture I took during the festival in 2019 of the Terrazza Mascagni. It's so special. So I think even though in Western Europe, as you say, there has lots of great bands, Spain, Germany, UK, and Scandinavia as well. Lots of bands. I don't want to name them all, but really many very good bands we have, and also we combine the number of guys who share the passion for surf music with a geographical sort of ideal sort of placement, as to say.
So when have you gone on tour throughout Europe before COVID hit?
Unfortunately not. I would be more than glad to do it at some point, but no. I think we are quite, despite the fact that we're all the three of us rather experienced musicians in terms of years spent playing music, but the Guantanamos are actually a rather fairly young band, new band. The band was formed in 2018, so I think it's a very early stage. We managed to put out this first EP in 2019, just before the festival. We had a few tracks, original tracks that we wrote, and we were sort of playing live. So just before the festival, we were lucky enough to record this EP, and I think, and then again, I think the pandemic stopped the work for the second EP, which lucky enough we managed to record in November, just before the last, the second or the third pandemic strike again, and I think now we're about to release the second EP. Asylum Escape is it's called, by Otitis Media Records. So we managed to record it just before the last pandemic hit, and we send it around. It's luckily we were glad that Noah Drumright, the guy who runs the business at Otitis Media Records. So I know that you posted him in the program not long ago. Yeah. He liked the demo, and so I think we're going to release with them the second EP on vinyl, which is going to be a 7-inch vinyl, 4 tracks. And also we agreed to release a CD with 6 tracks, another track which was initially thought for the the vinyl. We decided to put it on a compilation. Titus Media Records is putting out shortly, I think. So that is going to go on the CD plus a bonus track we recorded a while ago. We decided to put it on the CD. So I think in terms of material now we have enough material, but I think. No, we haven't had the chance to tour in Europe. We had a mini tour last year in between December and January in the south of Italy and in Milan. We played 3 or 4 dates, and that was really cool. We liked it, and hopefully in the future there will be chances to go and present our work outside Italy. Of course, we will be more than glad to do it.
Did you find you got a really energetic response from the crowds?
I think the connection it's not exactly good at the moment. I missed your last question. Sorry, Ryan.
Oh, the reaction from the crowds when you play out is energetic and positive.
Well, I think so. Yes, it's so. I think this is why what we like the most is presenting and playing in front of people on stage, and it's of course it's good to work remotely, promote the music and on social media and the internet. But yes, we like to see the reaction. I think we do it. The music is something that needs to be presented out. So I think it's something that you need to sort of bring out and appreciate the reaction of people. I think it makes it realize that what you're doing it's good, or you have to work harder on it. So I think the feedback from the public is essential. So yes, but I think for what I can say, of course, it's good. Yeah.
Good. Why did you choose the name the Guantanamos?
Right. I think it was the idea of a former drummer, was a founder of the band. I think he sort of came out with the idea of 3 blocks fugitives from a high security prison in Guantanamo, but making fun of it because on the other hand, in actual fact, the 3 blocks were laid back guys who like to play surf music and be carefree. So I think that, and this is why we have the uniform in orange with the logo of the band in the back. Yeah, I think it was from the beginning, honestly, that the idea came out. So when I joined the band, was forming it back in 2018, I responded to an advert stating that 3 guys were putting on a band, a surf music band, and the advert went on like California Surfer from Prato or Firenze, and I thought that was it. It is what I was looking for, because at that time it was I think I spent about a year or a bit more, I think, trying to put a band together, a surf band, but for some reason I kept playing with people, but things didn't click for some reason, and in the end I found the 3 guys who were sort of at the beginning of this band. So I responded to the advert, and I went, and of course we decided to play the classics, which at that time I had at my fingertips because of practicing with different people. So at the end of rehearsal, the drummer went came out and said, now we need a name, a uniform, and a social media page, and we need to go out and play live. So, and then he added, and someone has to write a few original tracks, which I didn't think of doing, but in the end, I did. And so we started the band and the name, the concept, the narrative behind it. And I found myself writing a piece of music which never done it before. So that was very stimulating. At first, we were, the band was supposed to be 4 and it was just after the very early stages that the other guy playing guitar decided to left, and we decided to go on as a trio, which is, of course, is a compromise in terms of sound. You miss the rhythm guitar, which is, I think, in some ways is essentials of music, but on the other, you sort of have the advantage of sort of moving around more swiftly and being more effective if you have to sort of go around and play live. So and since then we are a trio. So this is, in a nutshell, this is the story of the Guantanamos.
Nice. So being the guitar player, being one guitar player in the band, you have the freedom to improvise, but you're also pulling double duty. You're mixing the rhythm with the lead.
Sure.
How does that work for you?
Well, it's working at the moment. I have to make it work it out, but I think it's learning how to compromise, and sometimes the rhythm part needs to take sort of more. It's more important, and you have to sort of underline that, and sometimes the melody needs to, of course, to take the lead, in actual fact. And I think it's learning how to mix and match these two parts. Of course, this is when, of course, refers when you play live, because you have to do it at the same time. So you have to sound with a good, you have to big sound, and have to cover all the bits and pieces around the song. But and this is what we decided to do with the first EP. Of course, when you're in studio, things are much easier, because you can add your own second guitar, rhythm guitar. The last EP is going to have a few light keyboards as well. Me and the bass player sort of decided to add a little bit of keyboards in order to have a more refined sound, whereas the first EP was deliberately decided to leave it a bit rough as a trio, in order to get the feeling of having the band, listening to the band as it would on stage live. I'm not sure if that it's the right way to do, but it was the decision made at that point in order to have that feeling. We decided not to have the same approach with the last one, so it's gonna have a rhythm guitar, but on stage, of course, it's different, and I think you learn along the way how to do it. There are some surf guitarists who are spectacularly good at not sort of making you feel that the rhythm guitar is missing. You some sort of referred to Mr. Sharp. So like Oleg, the guitar player, there is a master of sort of mixing with the upstroke, the rhythm part of the guitar, and of course listening to people who are better than you, and try to emulate them. Possibly along the way makes you a better guitar player. And if we in the future decide to go on as a trio, of course I would have to work hard in order to get better and better. Otherwise, we will sort of hire a second guitar.
Well, I find the process of recording as opposed to playing live when you have one guitar, fascinating, because you have to play the song a different way when you recorded it. Is that right?
Yes, it is. But I think on the other hand, if you're writing the song, when you're writing the song, it depends very much on the approach. Everyone has a possibly a different approach. I don't know much about the other sort of surf guitar players, how they do. But when I have an idea of a new piece of music, I think I start with of course the drums, possibly, or either a drum machine or a drum track, and of course you can play a little bit around with two tracks of guitar, and was essential in order to follow the chord progression is the rhythm guitar. So in a sense, in my head, the rhythm guitar is always there. And then when you have the bass player, you have the bass line that is emphasized with the tonic. But you do always, as a guitar player, have the rhythm guitar inside your head, whether or not is there for the people to listen to. I'm not sure if you see what I mean, but
Oh yeah.
okay.
When I was
Right.
in a band, the drummer would suggest some things, and he said, "Well, you don't have to play that. That's kind of implied." Would you agree? Would you agree that that's kind of the mindset?
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, absolutely.
So, other than the EP right now, what are you guys working on? You have the two comps,
Yep.
and what are your plans for when everything reopens?
Well, first of all, we hope to go around and present our new stuff live with the old stuff. We didn't have much time actually to present even the first EP much. We started to play live from the beginning, which was a good chance for us to sort of build up, skills and being confident. But uh, all in all, we didn't. I think we didn't play the first EP as much, the 6 tracks of the first EP much. So I think presenting everything we've written down and we recorded so far would be the main goal. But we also have in store several other tracks which we like to develop and possibly making plans to record in the near future, hopefully. So we have 2 EPs, 2 comps, and then we have other materials we are currently working on. As we said before, I think unfortunately, if when things were normal, so as to say, we were developing the tracks on rehearsal during rehearsals, and at the moment, unfortunately, we have to sort of make stems of the tracks, the guitar tracks and the bass line and the thing, and then we have to exchange them. So it's going to the process is slowed down pretty much compared to what is normal. But we are still working. We're still working harder for possibly a third EP or an album. An album, I think it's of course more challenging. But for the moment, I think we haven't. We decided not to have any cover track on the work we've done. So it's everything is pretty much original. We might work on some covers, so I think we might reach a number of pieces able to make an LP. But honestly, I think it's the next step. I think for the moment is still developing what we've got, and we still have quite a few tracks that we sort of want to develop first of before making other plans. But sure, going back and play live and possibly putting out the third EP or an LP would be brilliant.
Very good, very good. Where can people find your music?
Well, we have the first EP was distributed. It was self-produced and was distributed by on the major streaming platform so Spotify and the like. We also have a Bandcamp account where you can sort of listen in streaming the EP, the first EP, and you can buy the CD. And then I think the usual channels. I think we have a SoundCloud account where we have some old cover of the first rehearsals, and I think then the big change is going to be shortly when we'll be gladly placed in the roster of Untitled Media Records, and I think people can sort of have our stuff and the CD from Untitled Media Records, and I think it's a big step. We really excited about it.
Yeah, Noah has some great bands on his label. I've never heard anything bad come from him, so you're in good company for sure.
Absolutely, we're amazed. We were so glad that he responded to the email when we sent the demo, and we felt so lucky and privileged to be amongst all the bands they have. They're really great. So I think we need to do our best to keep up with the high level they've got at Untitled Media Records.
Oh yeah, you definitely will. You definitely will. I love the first EP. I listened to it 4 or 5 times, and then I listened to it today again, and I love it. The very happy-go-lucky nature of it, relaxed, but still a little upbeat.
Thank you. It's the best. We do that for and being sort of having good feedbacks is the best thing we can have. Honestly, we do it because we like playing music, and I think it's the best reward is having feedbacks from people in the field. And thank you very much.
Oh yeah. Is there anything you'd like to say in closing before we sign off?
Oh, well, nothing really more than I've said. I think I wish everyone out there the best, and I hope that everything is going to be easier from now on. We now certainly have the vaccines, and I think this is a turning sort of point from now onwards. So I think nothing really to say about the fact that anything else, if not that I wish everyone out there to keep sort of going back and listen to good music live as soon as possible, whichever genre you like, whichever bands you like. But I hope to see everyone out there again and going to the concerts, because what we're missing the most is playing and going to listen to other musicians. So, and of course, a special thought goes to those, as I said before, who for whom music is the first employment, and I think it's very sad. So I think I know it's different around the world, but I think governments and the institution will be wanting to support musicians. We all need that. We all need for everyone. Music is a big part of our lives, and I think it's sometimes it's the best medicine. And I hope that things will be better for everyone. That's it. I don't want to sound too cheesy, but it's sincere, at least. So it comes from the heart. Okay.
I agree. I agree 100%. Well, I want to thank you, Francesco, for talking to me. I really found your story interesting, especially the classical training. I found that very interesting, and I love your music, and I want to thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you very much for having us, me and the three of us, ideally, and I appreciate the things you've done with Pi Records. So I think again, thank you very much, and I hope to see you soon.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
All right,
Bye.
thanks. Have a good day.
Take care. Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye.